Hello and welcome to to Formula One Manager 22. We're going to go with a new career. Just I was having
Formula
a
One, a sport that spans hearts, minds, and nations, where the 20 best drivers in the world come together to take on some of the world's most historic circuits. And that legacy continues today. The 2021 championship was thrilling from start to finish, and 2022 is set to be even better. New regulations will usher in an age of pioneering changes. New driving talent alongside returning champions will be dueling it out to the bitter end. The pressure will be on the team principals in the upcoming season as they manage their drivers, their cars, and the whole team to push to victory. This is not a challenge for the faint-hearted. This is Formula One.
I forgot that was going to play.
Mercedes returned to F1 in 2010, and since 2014 they've won the Constructors' Championships back-to-back every year. In 2021 they took home the Constructors' Championship once more, although they narrowly missed out on the Drivers' Championship, coming in second. Heading into 2022, Mercedes will insist on dominating the competition. Nothing less than the fastest car and the most wins will give the Silver Arrows the outcome they want to see at the end of this new season and beyond.
It's going to do that for every team, and so I'm going to play for each of the teams so you can hear, and I'll go through these as it's playing for so you can get a rundown of them. So that was Mercedes. It only plays it once, luckily. So here you go. Red Bull even.
The Red Bull team burst onto the F1 scene in 2005, and ever since 2009, they've been one of the top 3 teams in the championship. Last season ended brilliantly for them. Max Verstappen won the prestigious Drivers' Championship, and Red Bull are flying high once more. Heading into 2022 under the right leadership, Red Bull could find themselves heading up the pack once more. They'll certainly be hoping to end the season with not 1 but 2 championship trophies for their cabinet back home in Milton Keynes.
That's interesting. I thought there were more than 4 constructors. No, actually they didn't, did they? Because Sebastian Vettel, 4 times world champion, and they won it 4 times, and then last year they won the drivers, but Mercedes won the constructors. Okay, so going by them, you can see that their headquarters is the best, but staff, drivers, and car performance are all second. Mercedes are third, first on the driver performance, and third on the staff performance, second on the headquarters. 8 and 9. Okay. Now on to Ferrari then.
Ferrari have entered Formula One every year since the World Championship began back in 1950. They still hold the most championship titles of any team. The team had a solid season in 2021, securing 3rd place in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari are very much in it to win it. With strong leadership over the 2022 season and beyond, expect to see them fighting for those podium places. If all goes well, they'll be aiming for that top spot as the seasons progress.
1950 they came in. It's right from the beginning. 16 constructors, 15 drivers. So you've got your season objective and then your long-term objective. Those who've played Football Manager will be kind of used to this kind of thing, and maybe I think the old Formula One Manager, Racing Manager or whatever it was called, that had a similar area to this, and then your starting balance, and all the teams have that. So they want third, they want first, but their long-term objective is Constructors' Champions. I think that'll be pretty much every team will want that, but obviously these are going to start going to just want to be in the points. regular contenders within the points. But the top three, they want Constructors' Champion. Long-term objective is for that. And you can be fired, by the way. I think once you're fired, it's like game over. I don't think you can be offered another seat. I don't know. I only done, I don't know how many races. I done a few. So yeah. Interesting that the drivers have been put as third. You can't have an equal driver hitting first. So, for example, for argument's sake, you couldn't have Vettel and Hamilton as being ranked the two best drivers in the world sitting on first. There's one is better than the other regardless. That's kind of sad, really. I do think, though, when you look at the images of the drivers, I think Vettel looks really good. And the same with Lewis Hamilton. I think he's done really well. Whereas Russell, not so well. Leclerc, again. But again, it isn't a bad sign either. Anyway, moving on to McLaren.
McLaren are a cornerstone of F1, having been part of the sport since 1966 and winning numerous drivers and constructors' championships over the years. Last season, they came a respectable 4th overall, with Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris securing the only 1-2 finish of the season. The talented driver pairing of Ricciardo and Norris returns for McLaren this season, and one thing is certain, they're not going to settle until they're reigning champions once more.
The long-term objective for these is to win the Constructors. 8 and 12, okay. But the long-term is... But they want to finish 5th. Now, I can tell you, they ain't that good at the beginning. They just ain't that good at the beginning. Sorry, but they're not even they start off being 5th, 6th kind of best team, but they do drop off. Or they did in the game that I was doing anyway. It's a good one of yeah. And I know, forgot his name. Ricardo. Daniel Ricardo doesn't look too bad, but I think Norris is really good.
Alpine was a new name in 2021, bringing F1 drivers Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon back into the spotlight. Alpine finished the 2021 season in 5th place in the constructors' standings, with their first race win secured by Ocon at the Hungarian Grand Prix. 2022 will be a formative season for Alpine as they return with the tried and trusted driver pairing of Alonso and Ocon. In a few years' time, with the right leadership, they could well become championship contenders.
Was Alpine Renault originally? Wasn't it? Yeah. 2005, 2006, it was a Renault, wasn't it, back then? That was hence the reason that should they be able to take them forward because it's under a different name, realistically. In essence, Alpine haven't won a drivers or constructors championship under that branding, but under their former name they had, under former ownership, I should say, they had. But interesting that they're the 5th. There's McLaren 8th on car. The driver was 5th. They're 4th on driver and car performance of 5th. These are much more stronger than McLaren straight off the bat. But they have a high starting balance. Obviously these have all got high. So these would definitely be more of a around 4th place kind of team. Definitely. But we'll move on. AlphaTauri.
AlphaTauri have been a name in Formula One since 2020. They're renowned for being the proving ground for talented new F1 drivers. Last season, they ended in 6th overall. Driver Pierre Gasly also earned them an impressive podium finish in Baku. Heading into 2022, the team continued to develop their current driver pairing of Yuki Tsunoda and Gasly. They'll want to continue scoring regular points and begin working their way past the other midfield contenders.
Yeah, well, so these are more of a 7th place kind of team. But they're expecting 6th, but average is 7th. But yeah. Anyway, Aston Martin. Where do you think? I know where, because obviously I chose them for my test run, but where do you think? You've got, what was it, first? It was first as well, wasn't they, wanted? So you got these two that won first, these won 3rd. These won 5th. These won 4th. These won 6th. Notice no one's 2nd. Nobody wants 2nd. Nobody wants to be the runner-up in the championship. So, you know. Kind of funny, that one. You'd think that Mercedes would be pushing for 2nd, and these would be more 1st and 1st, and Alpine would be trying to push for 3rd, because where did they get last year? 5th. And he's got 4th, yeah. So you'd think that these would be trying to look to challenge for 3rd, and they'd be trying to challenge for 4th, and these would be trying to challenge for 5th. Because they finished 6th last season. So you'd think they'd want to be pushing a bit higher. But I guess they did it so that where they finished is where they're there again now, because these finished 4th and they're expecting to finish 5th. Anyway, we go on to Aston Martin. You might be surprised.
2021 was Aston Martin's first full season in Formula One. They roared onto the scene with Sebastian Vettel, the legendary 4-time world champion, in one of those coveted driving seats. Despite some teething problems in testing, Aston Martin gave a solid showing and finished the season in 7th place overall. Heading into 2022 with Lance Stroll and Vettel behind the wheel, Aston Martin have the potential to become regular podium contenders. But it's going to take strong leadership and shrewd investment to get them there.
So 8th they won. That's what they're aiming for. What did they get last season? They got 7th. So they're aiming for 8th. They're considered pretty much a midfield team if you went by the bar, but you can't, because funny how Red Bull and Mercedes was expected to be better overall than the others. Is that a combination of all of this, or is that just a combination of the actual driver and team car performance? Because it should be them, then them, if they went by real life. And McLaren would be definitely a bit more Alpine and McLaren will be a lot higher, or McLaren will be a lot more competitive. So would I nearly call them Jaguar then. Aston Martin, to be honest. They're not always at the back, and you will be at the back fighting with these guys. Unfortunately, for Williams.
Williams is a legendary name in F1, winning 9 Constructors' Championships in their heyday. The Williams family sold the team in 2020, and the 2021 season saw them fighting well from start to end. They finished 8th overall, thanks to some incredible performances by George Russell in his last year as a Williams driver. In 2022, Williams have Nicholas Latifi and new signing Alex Albon, returning to F1 after a year away to make up their driver team. The pressure is on for them to up their performance this season and push their way back towards those midfield places.
If you take this team on, sack him. Seriously. Get rid of Latifi. No offence to Latifi in real life or in the game. Remember how people always used to make sarcastic remarks how many times one Mazepin spin and his name became Mazspin and all that crap. This guy, Latifi, in this game, he locks up a lot. He's not worth keeping, believe me. You'll regret it if you keep him. You'll want to get rid of him ASAP. And no offense to Jack, but get rid of him as well. Cut your budget down and try and sign 2 young people to fill these roles. Maybe push Albon as your number 1 driver and a young person to be your number 2 with a reserve driver. And you don't have to get rid of Jack, but definitely to Latifi. Get rid of him. Seriously. You can go on to anybody's videos who are doing Williams, and they would have most likely got rid of Latifi. And if they haven't during their first season, they will be moaning that they want to get rid of him, and they will be looking to replace him. He's just not worth it. I mean, some people even get rid of Albon, cut their budget even further and go for 2 young, cheap options to cut their budget costs and give them more spending room within the budget cap, because budget cap is a thing, just a thing, and with a low budget to start off with. But that one's a challenge in itself, because the headquarters is 7th, staff and drivers. These will always be at the back, fighting for 19th and 20th. First few races, in my test game, they were Albon was fighting with the Aston Martins and just above. Anyway, moving on. Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo boast an impressive Formula One history, dating right back to 1950, when they won the very first Drivers' World Championship. However, 2021 saw them finish in 9th overall, with no podium finishes to their name. The team usher in 2022 with a brand new driver lineup. They're joined by F1's first ever Chinese race driver, Zhou, as well as veteran Valtteri Bottas, as they build their way back to becoming regular point scorers.
Never won a Constructors' Championship, funny enough. Who was Alfa Romeo originally? What team were they? I honestly can't remember. I know Jordan was a team on here, but I don't know which team. It was they. I think Haas was Minardi, wasn't they, or something like that. Back in 97, 98, I think even 99. Was it 2001, 2002 when Minardi dropped out? Anyway, he probably tells you, doesn't he? Doesn't. Okay. But they ain't a bad team. They're definitely a midfield contenders. You will fight for, especially with Bottas. You will fight for points. Not every race, but most races you will be there fighting for the last few points on the table. Maybe even pushing above that and being up there in fighting for 7th, 6th, 7th place on the leaderboard, and they want 5th. That's a tough one. Right. And finally,
Haas joined F1 back in 2016, and they've had a good start to their team career, peaking at 5th place in 2018. Last season, they finished 10th, but they spent a lot of time and focus on designing their car for 2022 and strategizing for the future. Going into the 2022 season, Haas hope to have a strong car design under their belts. Coupled with hungry drivers, an ambitious team, and strong leadership, they'll be pushing their performance and fighting their way back to the midfield.
okay. So they're hoping for 6th, but they're averaging more. Yeah, the Kevin Magnussen will be a points contender for definite. Not every race again, but they can be a strong team if you're playing as Aston Martin or the Williams team. You will not be fighting so much with Haas for the first race anyway. You might with Mick Schumacher, but yeah, you won't be guaranteed. And funny enough, in my tests race or season, I got up to Spa, I think it was, completed Spa, and I'd replaced both Vettel and Stroll. I wanted to cut the budget cost as spending on drivers and bring in 2 drivers. I hadn't scouted them or anything. I just brought them in, Doohan, because I knew him from the other Formula, and Mick Schumacher because why not? And pardon me, bought him out of his contract with Haas. Pardon me. So Doohan was actually faster than Mick Schumacher by a few tenths, and we're leading the race. Everybody's pitted, the weather's changed, people have gone onto wets, and then all of a sudden it starts drying up, and they've stayed on the wets, and I've pitted and gone onto the intermediates, and jumping up the order really quick, and finally the others start pitting for intermediates, but by then my 2 drivers are 1st and 2nd, and we're driving along, and it's going to dry out, and I'm like, right, Mick Schumacher will pit first. He's currently leading the race, and Doohan is catching him quite fast. But I've told Doohan to hold back because Doohan, I'm going to take on a extra lap and push, and but so Doohan is catching him fast, but he's not anywhere near within 3 or 4 seconds of him at that point. Mick Schumacher's pitting that lap. He's not pushing. and he locks up on the final corner, smashes into the barrier, damages front wing, has to do a whole lap with a damaged front wing, which drops him down the order, pits, which drops him even further down the order, out of the points. Doohan goes on, makes his pit stop the lap after the lap that Mick was meant to pit, and bearing in mind that the gap that Doohan had made up, Doohan had gotten from being behind him the lap before. Doohan had managed to go into the pits, make his stop, and exit the pit lane completely before Mick Schumacher even entered the pit lane. That's how much time Mick Schumacher lost. Doohan went on to win that race. Mick Schumacher failed to score anything. Because Doohan pitted, took on a set of mediums and went to the end. The AI, for some strange reason, stayed on the intermediates for a few laps too long and then pitted and took on soft tyres. But by then, Doohan, my team, I wish Mick hadn't go up there. Doohan had made up enough time to be able to coast home. And they was catching Doohan hand over fist on the soft tyres, but yeah, I haven't got the best car. Let's put it that way. I'm fighting with Haas and Alpine, or AlphaTauri, sorry, and McLaren. Fighting with them three teams. Williams are just out of the picture, and Alfa Romeo I'm also fighting with. So on an average race weekend, I can't touch these three, and Alpine, they leagues ahead of us. The others, easy enough to keep up with and fight with, but that's past the halfway point in the season. So I've done a few races. The only thing I haven't done is the practice sessions, but now we've gone through all of them and we've been doing it for like 28 minutes. Wow, that's been a lot of talking, hasn't it, and actually not getting anywhere. Team Mercedes, if you want to be fighting and pushing to try and close the gap, see if you can take Mercedes to continue the dominating form that they previously had in 2020. Not so much in 2021. They was dominating, but they wasn't dominating. You know, they had Red Bull a close company. Or do you want to take Red Bull and see if you can extend that cabinet of trophies that they've got, and show Ferrari not only strategically how to race, but how to develop a car and be top dog in the new genre of cars, new generation of cars? Or would you like to be Ferrari? Now, Googling it. This is the team that they reckon new players should pick for even just 2 or 3 races, just to get hands on. Or if this is for easy start, basically. They've got everything that you need, apparently. Not sure why these two haven't, but Ferrari apparently are the team. These are a tough team because the finishing position, then they're definitely not good enough for 5th. Put it that way. They are, with work, a lot of work. Like, in reality, you can get Mercedes to be challenging these for the title if you put your steps right, and it's not impossible. But it'll be a tough call trying to get to that championship fight. It depends on how much these two teams are costing each other in points wise. If one team's dominating, then you ain't got a chance. Alpine, they're a good team to go for. Again, fourth is definitely achievable with them. AlphaTauri, they're a good round team as well, but the budget cap and the starting balance will hinder you. Aston Martin, you will be at the back. There's no two ways about it. You will be at the back, but you can move up. You will be fighting with Williams and trying to close the gap down on everybody else. Williams, probably the hardest team to go with is this one, because they have the lowest budget cap. They have a really poorly put together driver in the game. I mean, yeah, Latifi's had a few moments in a few races more often recently than in the past, but in the game, he's constantly locking up, constantly making mistakes. He will just cost you. So you'd want to replace him. In the long term, you will save money. In the short term, it will cost you to get rid of him. Alfa Romeo, fifth. It's a tall ask. It can be done, but it's a tall ask. Especially with Alpine going for fourth, and AlphaTauri, McLaren. These could claim fifth and push you out of contention. Haas, I have seen quite a few people going with Haas, and the three teams I've seen common use are Haas, Williams, and Aston Martin. Are the three most popular teams people are picking for streaming anyway. Funny enough, there hasn't really been many people who have gone for a top team. Most people have avoided these three. I don't know if it's because they don't want to be controversial and pick a favourite or their favourite, and they've gone, I'll start from the back and see if I can do something. But these, you can score points with Kev Mag, or K-Mag as they call him, but with work they can definitely jump Alfa Romeo, McLaren, AlphaTauri, and extend their gap over Aston Martin and the Williams team. And by the end of the season, you could easily be challenging all of being more or less the fifth best team on the grid, with Alpine being a team that you're then not too far behind, if not already fighting alongside for fourth place on the Constructors' Championship. So I'd say out of all the midfield teams apart from Alpine, they're the easiest ones to go for. Some people would say get rid of Mick Schumacher. He's not worth it. He's on £500,000 a year. Believe me, he's worth keeping. Because you can keep your budget down. The only thing that's going to hurt you in the long run is that you're going to spend a lot of money upgrading your headquarters to try and get up there, whereas these already have it. So a lot of people would probably say Aston Martin are the better team, midfield team to go for, or back markers to go for, because they can quickly become a midfield team with the right development focus. But your choice. For me, for the sake of this, because I'm going to do a YouTube series on it. I think maybe one day, but not right now. I don't want to commit to anything like that. I would go. I've done Aston Martin, and it was interesting, but a lot of people were having problems with Stroll being an issue for them. He'd make mistakes and things like that. I had never had any of that, funny enough. Stroll was actually quite a good driver for me. So Latifi could be a good driver for you, you know. It's just from people that have with racing gone with Williams have gone, oh, I replaced Latifi, who was just no good. Now, whether they'd gone with a test team first and then saw Latifi just constantly messages, Latifi's locked up, Latifi's spun, Latifi's crashed, you know, they've gone, when they've started them proper save, they've gone, oh yeah, get rid of him. I just constantly saw messages when in my test save of him, so no, he's not worth it. Or if they've just jumped in at the deep end and gone, you know what, I'm going to go with Williams, I'm getting rid of Latifi because he spins in real life too much for my liking. I don't know. They've just gone by what people have said or heard, or what they've heard, what they've read and what they've heard from everything. The quickest way of advertising anything is word of mouth, and or quickest way of getting it out there anyway. I don't know who I would. I'm leaning towards one of these two. And I like the idea of these because of they are literally at the back. So any progression towards Aston Martin is a bonus. Whereas these can be challenging occasionally here and there for points. Or K-Meg can anyway. And pushing AlphaTauri and whatnot. I'm leaning towards the Williams team. Decisions. These have literally got the worst of everything, haven't they? Apart from headquarters, they have literally got the worst. And they want 9th on the championship. In the championship even, or constructors, and they want to be long-term objective of points contenders. For the hell of it, I'm going to go with Williams. Why not? Now, obviously you can put your team name where it's going to go like that. I'm not going to enable this because it will literally just take you through every or a crap load of stuff. Or should I? Yeah, actually I'll leave that on because I'm not going to be saving this anyway. So then you guys get a little tutorial as it goes, and it's a voiceover, so I don't have to do any reading, and neither do you, which is a bonus. So, go away. Then again, yeah, no, yeah, okay. Yeah, confirm. I'll be quiet now.
Hi there. Nice to meet you. I'm Audrey Mensa, one of the team's senior engineers. Welcome to the team. It's great to have you on board.
Okay. So this person is the same as the one I had for Aston Martin. So it's just what I was hoping that maybe each team would have their own, but they're not. Okay, fair enough.
We came under new management recently here at Williams, so you're joining us at a very exciting time. I'm sure you'll settle right into the team. Let's get you shown around. As our new team principal, you're responsible for a lot of aspects of the team. Everything from managing our team's growth, overseeing our finances, and deciding on race day strategies will be in your hands. You can keep an eye on most things from your dashboard here. I can take you through it now. First up, an overview of the board. They're the ones who set the expectations for the team. If they're confident in your leadership, you'll be fine. If they lose confidence in you, however, they might look to replace you. The board sets season objectives for the team to achieve. Reaching them will help keep confidence high, so be sure to familiarise yourself with what's expected. You'll want to keep an eye on the long-term objective for beyond this season as well. Okay then, let's look ahead to the race weekend. We need to start preparing for the next Grand Prix, which will be the first of the season. As it's your first day though, there's nothing urgent for you to address. Feel free to explore more, or you can select continue and sign off for the day. Once you do, time will pass, but don't worry about missing anything. You'll automatically sign back in if an important event comes up.
Okay. There is more, don't worry. Each one on most of these menus will have a voiceover, so be prepared for that. So these are the things that are coming up in the calendar, which we'll have a look at in a second. But easy enough. Straight off the bat, you've got your Drivers' Championship, the next event, your two main drivers, your board racing and everything, and then upcoming events. So a nice clean look on your homepage. Quickly be able to go, yep, I need to deal with that. Messages, yeah. But we don't get a voiceover for that, okay. And we don't have a delete button, funny enough. That's the sad part. Like, calendar.
This is your calendar for the month. Pay attention to the events that have been marked. The race weekends have already been added for you. More events will get added as the season progresses.
So we've got pre-season testing results, aerodynamic testing period ends. So we've got all of them, and there's 2 race weekends back to back. We've got Bahrain there, and then we've got Saudi Arabia afterwards. And then here we've got Australia. Right. And you can switch between the different months. And you can always click here to go back to the present day. Right, anyway. Nothing there. So here's a list of every single track ending on Abu Dhabi. Singapore, which I believe replaces the Russian Grand Prix. Bear in mind, I got to there in my test game, so I'd still got the Zandervoort and Monza, Marina Bay, which I think was used to be called, yes, Marina. think, maybe, or was it just called Singapore? I can't remember. Suzuka, Austin, the Mexican city, Sao Paulo, and oh yes, Ireland. That was Yas Marina originally, wasn't it? I think, and it became Abu Dhabi. Also Yas Island. Anyway, but you get a rundown of everything that you need and how much time you'll lose in the pits on any given track, and you can click on the tracks and get an overview and a lot more information. Safety car, how many times it's been out, things like that, so you can plan a bit more. But don't rely on safety cars. But they are a thing.
This is where you'll carry out your final preparations for the next race. We'll come back here later.
And we will come back here later, so we will move on.
One of my favourite places. This is where the car builds happen, and where we develop and store our car parts. Throughout the season, you'll want to make sure the team are working on upgrading components, and that both cars are being kept in good repair. You can also use car analysis to compare our car builds to other teams.
Which is instant, funny enough.
To start a project now, you'll need to commit money and engineering time. You'll be able to improve our car builds beyond their current performance.
So as you can see, there's our cap, 114 million. We've got available engineers of 6. We've got no current projects of any kind.
There are 3 different types of projects the engineering team can work on. We can design a new car part for use this season, manufacture copies of existing designs, or undertake research and develop our expertise for next season. Are you sure you want to start a new project now?
This becomes available, as you can see, when the regulation changes are confirmed. And then you can research, put your hours into researching for next year, and forget all about this year if you want, or majority of this year, and try and jump up through next year's innovation, which work for Haas and to an extent work for Ferrari, because they are challenging for race wins in real life. Maybe not so much the championship anymore though. It's sad, because I'd rather have seen that go on right down to the wire. But maybe still could happen, I guess.
Okay, you want to get started with a design project. These are car parts we can design and manufacture in-house. Each car part impacts different areas of a car's performance, but certain car parts will have a greater impact than others. You can also view our car performance by rank on grid. This is a useful comparison tool and lets you see how our performance compares to that of all the other cars on the grid. Take a look over the different car parts. The highlights indicate which performance areas they impact the most. Pick one that impacts the ratings you want to improve. The team's expertise in making new car parts improves with experience, so each new design is likely to be better than an older one. Just make sure to check the new design against the one currently installed. Testing is also an important step in designing a new car part. Our testing time is limited throughout the season, and it's up to you to decide how much to commit to each design project. If you assign some testing time to this design now, you can see what effect it will have on the car part. Once you've taken a look, let's continue.
Finally, that's a lot of talking. And yeah, so currently we've got MAU hours of 6.3 and ATR hours of 56. And as she said, the more we put into this, the higher this will go up. And same with this. So we could go 30 hours on that. And 2 hours on that, and where would that put us? Well, engine cooling would go up and airflow would go up, but drag reduction we wouldn't move up. So you're looking at what could we do to improve our car on the grid right now. Maybe in here. Currently high speed 11th, airflow 15th, 19th, 17th, 19th. Nothing. No huge gain on anything, was it? Didn't actually go anywhere with it. Let's see if we allocated all of our time to this. Would it have gone up? Mid speed would have gone up to 13. And high speed would be 9. So, what about side pods? What would that do for us? Nothing. So we suspension. So the high speed would go to 11th. So fast tracks we'd be better off on. But yeah. Front wing, well, can we make a difference here? Again. Didn't we just do rear wing, or was it front wing we just done? I think it was rear wing, wasn't it? Sure it was. I'm getting tired. High speed of 7. But, yeah. No, it was front wing originally that we done. We'll just do it again just to be. But so as you can see, you'd end up mixing and matching. Now, underfloor is definitely a key one, and chassis. Underfloor and chassis will help massively, and they will cost you a pretty penny as well. But it's not going to be a huge gain. But the more you can improve, the closer you can get to your competitors. But for hell's sake, we will.
You can direct the engineering team to focus on specific areas of performance. F1 car parts are complex, and sometimes you'll have to sacrifice performance in one area to achieve gains in another. Over the season, we'll understand more about our car's performance, which will help you to guide the team's design focus. You can try altering the focus now if you like, or else stick with a balanced approach. When you're ready, continue with the process.
And you can. could theoretically go like this if you wanted. So low speed, you'd get a little bit of an advantage. High speed, you see, you gain a. That's where your main improvement is. That didn't do anything. That put you 17th. That put oh. Oh, okay. So you. I mean, you could go like that, and immediately you've made your team 9th and 5th best on medium and high speed corners, which would be fine for tracks like Bahrain, where you've got a lot of fast and slow corners. But you wouldn't have this ready in time because it's saying 11 days there. You could theoretically look at this one and make your car even better. Either way, going with that. If you went and threw everything at it, what would that do for you? Monaco, you'd really struggle. But other than that, you'd be right up there. So let's just assume that you're going to go with that.
As a final step before the team gets started on this design project, you need to decide how many engineers you want working on it. You should also decide what approach they should take. Bear in mind, these decisions will have an impact on the duration and cost of the project. When you're happy with everything, confirm the project and the team will get started.
So we've got 6, it's 75 days. We can get it down to 50 days. Obviously, I'm not going to go with it because I had no intentions on doing that. What about a chassis? get it down by 8 to 18 days. And the chassis would total cost 195 days, intense 26 days, extra 8 days. But by going with intense, your engineers will put extra hours and optimize the design. The cost will be higher, but you will gain a greater car part expertise bonus, which will improve future designs of this part. Future development, your team's expertise in chassis development will increase at a faster rate, greatly improving all future chassis projects. So spending the extra money and putting the extra days onto it will help, but it is more expensive. Your engineers will put in extra hours to finish the project. That will remain a higher cost for a faster completion time, but a lower expertise gain. So they will gain in expertise, but at a much lower rate. But you could initially come out of this better off. But 13th, 11th, and 11th. So low speed, it would really affect you. High, medium, airflow would be affected still. Threw everything at it. Nothing. Okay. Stack would work. There isn't much of a gain, really, is it? How quick could we get that out? $36 to do a front wing. Wow. Better rear wing. Eleventh, 15th, 7th. 9th, 5th, 11th, 9th. 13. 36 days. The rear wing could help. I think this is this just didn't do anything, did it? So as long as we put 1 hour onto it. And we could get 13th, 11th, 11th, 11th. Without putting too much onto it. What about now if we go? This ain't changing anything, is it? So drag reduction went up by 2 places at 58. And we could have 11 across the board on everything. Across. $32 days. And that'd be the side pods. Fine. We'll do that.
Nice work. That's the project started. If you check your calendar, you'll see the team have given you a delivery date for the design. Once it's complete, you'll be able to manufacture that part anytime.
Thank you.
Continually designing new car parts is imperative to improving our team's performance and staying competitive on the track. Check out the car analysis area regularly to see how our cars compare to others on the grid.
And then as you can see, I can't do another side pod now because I've already got one in development. Hang on, let's just get all this where we want it first. We like that. Let's do any of this will make a difference. Airflow. A lot of hours to put into it though, isn't it? That leaves us with 4 hours and 2.3 hours to do the others. We'll guarantee 9th, 11th and 13th, which brings us up from 19. Could be a big thing. And then we could focus on the front wing after. How long would this take? 22 days. Well, that's a possibility. What about an underfloor? Just, I know you'd be like, well, why are you pushing all them up there for? What's the point in that? $63 days. Wow. So we can get you up from medium, maybe 11th to 9th. And 5th. By going like that. Rather go 3. The underfloor would then greatly improve things a bit more, but the design time on that is 63 days. Which means in theory we could end up with almost, or 2 things actually added to the car before the floor is even ready. Chassis, side pods, and the floor. With maybe a front wing or rear wing in development. And then work on a new chassis after to further improve. It costs $2 million to do, but we'll just go with that. So we can manufacture parts as well. Now, they always give you, straight off the bat, you 1 suspension. Now, I'm not going to use that right now because that will come up in the tutorial part. If you want to get back to the main menu, obviously, just go here. Right. What did we do? Now drivers.
This is where you'll find relevant information on the team's drivers and reserve driver, including their performance ratings and contract details. You can also scout for new drivers to make sure we have the best driver pairing we can.
Now,
You can see here, when a driver has development points available, you can use them to improve their performance. Highlighting a performance rating will give you more information on their effects. You can also select any of the tabs at the top there to look into the specifics of the driver. For example,
oh, I ended that like there, yeah. How long they've got left on their contracts and everything. How much we're paying them. And his moral is okay, renew scout. So these are all the current drivers. Schumacher is willing to negotiate. What are we spending on you? 630 and a target bonus of 60,000 with a threshold of 10th place. And cost to break the contract is 258,000. Average and aggression is low. Well, no offense, but I'd rather have you on board as an example. So we're going to go yes. We're going to sign you to a 5-year deal. We're going to replace Latifi. See if we can get you for 550,000. We'll give you a immediate cash boost of 150,000 with a race target of 15,000 or 10 off of the contract. See what he says. Not happy with that or that or that. Okay. 600,000. That. As you, this will drop as you keep saying no. So, okay. So he wants more than what Latifi's on. And he wants a higher. Let's go 50,000. It was on first. Let's see what he says about first. Medium. This isn't looking good. Okay, so it's just the money now. I ain't going any higher than that. Just an FYI. He's accepted. Okay, higher. Right, there we go. So now we've got a new second driver. Or first driver even. Mick Schumacher, Albon, and we paying you then? Oh, not much. Okay. How much are you on? 6 million? You know where how that money's going, or where all that money is going. What's your performance average low? Didn't even look average, okay. Right. And we can scout a driver. We can put one of our scouts on. We can go with standard scout or detailed scout. We don't have to just go out straight off the bat. But Latifi's now a free agent, and Haas will be looking for a new driver. So Latifi might get snapped up. So Steph.
It's not just the fastest car that makes a team the best in F1. It's the people doing the hard work behind the scenes. Manage your staff from here, from department heads to your pit crew, and keep up to date on their performance.
So we already know that we've got really, really bad crew. So, like, literally. He's a free agent. Better than what we've already got. I don't know how much he's going to accept. In fact, so 2.1 million with a cost to break the contract is nearly 3 million. Okay. We're going to see if we can get this guy for that. You think? Not much better, but he's happy with that. Okay. He doesn't want 5 seasons, so let's go 3. See if he'll accept that. Still wants more money. It's costing us more than the guy, isn't it? There. He accepts that contract. We're not completely happy, but we're going to take it because why not? Good. And so 71 on the head of aerodynamics. Currently on 1.8 million. We'll see. See if we can lure him in. That. See what he says. Problem is I don't want to be spending too much money on you. Almost there. And a 2-year deal. Okay, fine. Costing us money to get rid of these people though as well. Guy might be fine as he is. 900,000. Yeah, he'll be fine. And so we've got a couple of new people in. It's the side pods, which we're currently working on. That's good. Reduction, not so much. Cooling, better DRS, delta. Airflow management. So, yeah. And these guys can improve. But the main thing is we've got a bit more. Anyway, moving on to facilities.
From here, you can see all the team's facilities, from the staff buildings to the car park development centres. You can build new facilities or, if the team has the time and money, upgrade our existing ones. Facilities affect all areas of our team's performance.
So a breakdown of everything, building, the upgrades, the refurbishing, and we will have to do that. As you can see, it will degrade over time.
Over time, facilities will degrade and become less effective.
As I just
So
said.
keep an eye on their condition. When this happens, we'll need to look at refurbishing or even upgrading that facility to get back to maximum efficiency.
And I don't know if the more you need to, the more the refurbishment of, the lower it is, or the more it needs to be refurbished, the more it'll cost. I don't know about that part. I'm guessing that is the case. But we have a whole bunch of things here. Factory design, factory wind tunnel, CFD, suspension simulation, and parts testing. And this will affect development speed, so we can reduce the development speed of parts by researching the factory and how many projects we can have going on at any time for manufacturing parts. Currently we can manufacture 3 individual parts, so right now we don't really have a reason to worry just there. But it is 550,000 upkeep. If we wanted to upgrade there, we can't because we don't have the money. We've got 10 million left because we kind of went overboard, but it would give us 4 capacity, increase the monthly upkeep by another 100,000 and double our development speed. It would also take, doesn't say, does it, because we can't click on it, but I'm guessing it would take onwards of around 80 days or so. This we could upgrade if we wanted, and by doing it right now we got 2 and 6. By upgrading it, it would become 2 and 10, so we could increase the amount of engineers that we've got for 8 million, and it'll take 63 days to do it, which means that we can get a bit more going on, but it'll increase our upkeep by what, just 141,000. Wind turbine just improves. It will cost us all of our money, and the gain that will give us, doubling virtually everything that's right there now. But is it really going to be worth it for the huge increase on the upkeep? Not really. Not right now, anyway. We don't even know where we stand. And that 150,000 per game takes all of our money. Suspension, brake cooling. That one's a cheap one, but engine cooling and brake cooling improvements. Staff facilities, team hub, scouting, race simulator. That one is a good one to go for. So we will get there. Boardroom, hospitality, weather, helipad, memorabilia, and tour. Monthly upkeep will go up, but monthly income will go up as well. So we will upgrade this. 16 days. May as well. It'll give us a bit more money coming in. Yes, our upkeep will go up, but we'll be making 12,000, which will help towards the upkeep of our other building. So a little offset there for us. Anyway, board.
Don't forget to check in with the board often. You can monitor board confidence levels, your available budget, and your progress towards a greater team rating from here.
Remember, we spent a lot of money getting rid of 2 drivers and 2 members of staff. So, yeah. Medium, satisfied, 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 9th or above. And current progress towards this one, which is points contender. 50% of the races we must be scoring points, basically. And we've got none of 11. And the target year is by 2024. So we've got 3 years. Seasons remaining 3. Season budget is 50 million. Initial payout payment is 6 million. Monthly payments is 4 million. And obviously our profile. Seasons as principal, best constructors finish, drivers, Grand Prix entries, best Grand Prix finish, podiums, total points scored, highest. Seasons in progression, in progress, season 1 in progress even. So I wonder if you do get fired, if you can actually take on another team. Rules and regulations. Yeah. So we're expected 37,000. Wow. We'll probably get 10. Just saying. Finances.
Here you can delve deeper into team finances and see our balance, as well as understanding information on income and rewards, and the enforced spending caps we have to abide by.
So, easy enough. Breakdown. We've spent 43 million. About 50 million cap. Or 51 million cap. Income. Sponsor payout. All that. Yeah. Projected 194 million. So they're reckoning that we'll have 111 million. We'll have spent 82.54 million. Yeah. Okay. And then outgoing 4.7 million. Cost cap. So, yeah, okay. That's our total cost cap. That's what it'll be down to. And then our sponsors. Currently, pre-season cost of 10 million, payout of 7. And then obviously the standings. We can advance a day now.
It's no longer your first day. We'll have you on top of things in no time. You'll continue moving through days this way until it's time for the race, which you can see in the upcoming events list. It's good to get in the habit of regularly checking that list. Let's take a look at what needs doing today. You have an alert in the top corner. There's an important email awaiting a response, so you should check your inbox when you're ready.
Alright. So our inbox, car development, key staff. We've welcomed him and him, 2 seasons apiece. We've got Schumacher for 5 seasons, and then we've got sponsor obligations, which is basically just to say yes, we agree with all of this.
Looks like you've received a budget approval request. Most of the team's budget is decided by the board at the start of the season, plus whatever we get from last season's prize money and any extra sponsorship revenue we earn.
So these want to go on approve a party request. Yes, okay.
I reckon that's a good decision. It should keep the team in high spirits anyway. Now that's dealt with, we can focus on our first Grand Prix of the season. The race weekend is still a few days away, so move forward when you're ready. There's always some final work to do before we can set off. Check your inbox for the race prep report on this weekend's circuit.
Yeah.
Okay, you have all the information you should need. Let's head to race preparation to see if there's any remaining tasks for us to complete. This is your race preparation area, where you'll get the team ready for the upcoming race weekend. You can also find all the information you need on the circuit we're racing on here. One thing you'll always need to do before each race weekend is setting our performance targets. These help us generate more potential rewards for the team.
So lap record is 131.4 set by De La Rosa in 2005. And total pit time loss is about 25 seconds.
Here we've got the performance targets for this coming weekend. If we meet these, we'll gain extra revenue.
And then a breakdown of all of that. Okay.
Looks like we've got incentives for both the qualifying session and the race. If we can reach those targets, we'll get an additional payout, and it won't cost the team anything if we don't meet them. You can also decide to add targets here and offer our sponsors guarantees. These are a risk, as we face a potential financial loss if we don't meet them. But if we do, we'll gain a much larger reward. Okay, if you want to offer a guarantee for this weekend and raise the team's potential rewards, now is your chance.
I'm not going to, because that'd just be silly.
You've done everything needed, and the team can't wait to get started. It's time for the first race of the season. You can take some more time to look around if you like. When you're ready, let's get this show on the road.
Alright. But, funny enough, I'm actually going to end it there. I know you probably watched all this and gone, no, but I haven't even watched you race yet. I will do another video, but I really need to go to bed. It's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning and I am getting tired now. I will do a second video where we'll be going to do the actual Grand Prix. And you'll get to see the how all of that pans out. I should have started this earlier, then I'd have been able to do it all in one video, but sorry. Anyway, until the Look Part 2, I'll see you later. Bye.